We began this 8th night of Hanukkah, of trying to understand the roots of our faith. We begin with trying to understand the history behind it. We begin with our blessing. Blessed are you, Lord our God, King of the universe, who has sanctified us by his commandments and has commanded us to kindle the lights of Hanukkah. Blessed are you, Lord our God, King of the universe, who wrought miracles for our fathers in days of old at this season. It is. There is one but the message of Hanukkah is not limited to the natural cycle. It reflects the step beyond the given that we can add, our own gift to the world. That was the purpose of our creation. 8 days of the Brit, 8 offerings on Mish's harp. This is the shining beacon of Hanukkah, bringing the divine presence down into the world. It isn't about ending here. It's really, I think, the propelling into the rest of our days. Because on the first night of Hanukkah, remember, it is about in the beginning, and God said, "Let there be light." We also know on the second night, God made there 2 great lights. Oh, this sounds familiar. This sounds like the creation story. Because he made the sun and the moon. The sun is constant. Every day the same big fiery ball appears in the sky above us. But the moon, always going through changes. We go from slivers to full and back to slivers. On the third night of Hanukkah, in defiling the sacred oil of the menorah, the Greeks tried to destroy the Jewish soul. They tried and did not succeed. On the 4th night, Shabbat candles are lit before dark inside our home. By contrast, Hanukkah's candles have to light into the darkness of the night. See, the 2 candles on either side of the menorah are the Shabbat candles. They are normally just inside the house. The lighting for that day. Hanukkah candles are typically placed in the window that all the world may see. The 5th night of Hanukkah is about increasing the light. Like the Hanukkah candles, we are meant to add light every day. What is it that you have done today, on this day, to add light to the world? To add light to those who needed to hear the words. The 7th night is about spreading the light. Day means light, and our task is to spread light, to illuminate the world in all that we do. And the 8th night is about the infinite light. The 7-lamp menorah illuminated the natural world, but Hanukkah goes even beyond. There are a couple of lessons I want us to think about that hopefully we've learned, or maybe we can think about. The first one being the very act of lighting the candles shows even to the naked eye that the performance of the Creator's commandments spreads the light of godliness on earth, the lowest of the worlds, thus exemplifying all of the mitzvahs as it is written. A mitzvah candle is a candle, and the Torah is light. A second lesson maybe to learn is that the mitzvah of the Hanukkah candles calls for lighting them in increasing number and light from the right to the left. It is the lesson is that although when one candle was lit on the first night of Hanukkah, the mitzvah was performed to perfection, it is not sufficient for the second night, having grown older and wiser by the day. 2 candles are therefore lit on the second night, and so the number of candles is increased by an additional candle day after day through Hanukkah, for a total of 7 consecutive days, to teach us that it is the way in all the matters that throughout the 7 days of the week and during the entire year, in compliance with the imperative, in a highly visible manner also, that the growing diffusion of light in the environment at large. The third lesson is that our light should shine outside, not about just us. The Jew should not be content with merely spreading the light of Torah and mitzvahs in his own home, but it is part of his obligation and privilege to spread the light into the world, into the streets, and our whole environment. If our roots are there, let us as well. The fourth lesson is to bring the light into our own lives, into the lives of others that are still outside, to bring people closer to God Himself. The fifth lesson is about the Hanukkah lights also indicate in a general way that although the outside sun has set and darkness covers the earth, yet comes the auspicious afternoon of Erev Hanukkah, when the sunset reminds the Jew that the time and the moment have come, when the Creator and Master of the universe sanctifies him with a new mitzvah, whereupon he expresses gratitude to the Creator, reciting the blessing, thanking God for having kept us alive and preserved us and enabled us to reach this time, giving Him the mitzvah to kindle the Hanukkah lights. And the sixth lesson, it's obligatory for men and women alike, but it is the custom of women to go even further and not to do any work while the Hanukkah lights are burning. So inspired are they that the mitzvah and the content of the Hanukkah light, that all manner of other work becomes irrelevant to them while the sacred lights are burning. See, we are given permission, I think, to stop. I found a little reading on the last night of Hanukkah that all the menorah candles are lit. It was an annual sighting at 5 p.m. The sun and the moon in tandem are always seen furthest south for the entire year. We have to remember, this is normally done on the darkest evening. The darkest night of the year was on the previous evening. It was the new moon closest to the winter solstice. It's the first time in a week that the moon is seen before 2 a.m. It is the most dangerous day of the year for solar and lunar navigation. The sun and the moon are furthest south now. Normally, when they are seen low to the horizon, it means east or west. During Hanukkah, they are often seen south. People can easily confuse south with east or west. Plus, the young moon now can give a rising illusion when it sets. It is so faint that it is often seen for the first time just prior to setting west. People can think it was rising in the east. And it was a seasonal marker. It denoted that the worst of the winter had passed. Jews come out of the darkness now astronomically and symbolically as the moon begins waxing, getting larger and brighter and moving northward, with the sun soon to follow. Also, the navigational difficulties with the sun and the moon began improving. The ancients likely celebrated then. You and I have journeyed. We have journeyed 8 days. Maybe it's been confusing a little bit for us because it's not the same. And yet, I challenge each of you, and I pray for a clear night on Monday night, that we get to see the phenomenon of the Bethlehem star, where Jupiter and Saturn intersect each other. And the brightness of that light will illumine for us what this Hanukkah and this menorah do for now. My friends, we have journeyed. We have journeyed much in these 8 days. I pray that it has been a blessing. That it has been a blessing for you. I pray for you to continue in your journey. If please join me back Sunday, next Wednesday, for one more season of Advent. And then we celebrate this baby. The baby who changes the world. It is this night my prayers rise on these flames. That my prayers rise for each of you. That this season be blessed and full and complete. It is on this night that I lift my prayers for all those who suffer from COVID-19. For those families who are struggling due to loss and illness. For those who struggle with cancer this night, we lift our prayers for healing. For those who are having surgery, we lift their prayer, their concerns. For doctors and nurses, we lift them and say, God be with them, and let your hands and wings guide them. For leaders throughout our world to listen to the hope and the peace and the joy of what Hanukkah and Advent and Christmas are all about. Oh, this night, we lift each other and we hold them. We hold them close in these final hours of this Hanukkah. But we hold them close for all the days of their lives. Let our prayers be lifted this night. Like I said, please join me again. I've enjoyed our journey. I've enjoyed our time together. Please know that Wednesdays, after this coming Wednesday, after the Advent, we'll go back to studying Genesis again. Join me on Sundays, or Christmas Day at 2 o'clock we'll be on. My heart and my prayers are with each of you this night. So let's listen to I Have a Little Dreidel. I love that song. It probably helps if you turn the volume on. Shalom, my friends. Go in peace.